Entitled neighbor demands I stop using my own Wi-Fi because it's distracting her plants. Yes, you read that correctly. I live in a townhouse complex with paper-thin walls and a whole bunch of colorful personalities. One of them is my neighbor, a woman in her late 50s who wears tie-dye every day, insists she has a telepathic connection with crystals, and once told me my aura was too digital. I'm usually sitting out front on my phone with my computer, relaxing. I suppose that's why she feels I'm too digital. But her latest stunt truly took the cake. Last week, she knocked on my door, holding a small potted plant in one hand and a printout of what looked like a hand-drawn diagram of a Wi-Fi signal in the other. She told me we needed to talk about my router. I was confused. She then explained that my Wi-Fi was disrupting the vibrational energy of her succulents. She pointed to the drawing, which honestly looked like a sad jellyfish, and said the signal beamed directly through our shared wall and bombarded her plants non-stop. According to her, the plants had been fine until I got a new modem, and then gave me two options. Either turn off my Wi-Fi every night between 10 p.m. and 6 a.m., apparently the plant rest hours, or let her share my Wi-Fi and move the router into her unit so she could regulate the signal properly. I laughed because I thought she was joking. She wasn't. She stormed off as I was laughing at her. I'm still currently waiting to see what comes out of this.
Okay then. Big Bookkeeper 1678 says, let her share my Wi-Fi and move the router into her unit. Bingo! Crazy lady has a plan for getting free Wi-Fi. She has to regulate the signal properly, to which Moist Rule 92362 replied, you have to admit it's got to be about the most creative way to try and pirate your neighbor's Wi-Fi, and I have to agree with them, this does kind of have the makings of an elaborate scheme for getting free Wi-Fi. To be honest, if she was that concerned about the signals and the bad energy, then she'd probably avoid the internet altogether. It just sounds to me like this is an entitled weirdo looking for some free Wi-Fi, and I take my hat off to her for her hustle. Hey, a girl's got to pay for her crystals and her tie-dyed clothes somehow, right? Tiny Assumption 15 says, I like that she brought one of her plants to back her up too. Yeah, well, she has to really try to sell this story, I guess. So props to her for trying and going to the extra effort there. It does make me wonder, who else has she scammed over the years and gotten away with it? I mean, ain't her first rodeo, right? Pandaratastic has the solution here. Tell her you got some crystals and have aligned them around the router so that the signal is now purified. Well, yeah, I guess that could work, but I bet the crazy lady won't believe it or will need to come and verify that the crystals are the right kind or that the energy they're giving off is the correct energy, because as you know, not all crystals are created equal. The Day 8 has a story of her own to share. I took the wife of my husband's friend to our local flea market many years ago. She was nice, but this was the first time she and I spent time together without our husbands, so I didn't know very much about her. The flea market was huge and we were there for a few hours. I stepped outside to smoke while she stopped at a vendor who was selling rocks and incense. When I found her, she was holding a pile of rocks in her hands, just staring at them. Me, what you doing? Her, listening to the crystals. They talked to me. Me thinking to myself, they're telling you that you're effing nuts. I never had to stifle a laugh as an adult before that day. My husband was proud of me when I told him what happened. I still think about her every time I see crystals for sale. Kinker Lord says, she stormed off as I was laughing at her. I'm so glad you had the proper reaction to this. I get so frustrated reading stories where people come to Reddit to ask if they were an asshole for not doing what their idiot neighbor wants them to do. These people are funny. They should be laughed at. Maybe if enough people do it to their face, they'll stop repeating their opinion where other people can hear.
What do you think? How would you have handled this crazy neighbor? Would have you laughed at her like OP, or would you have actually believed her crazy shenanigans? Have you got a story you'd like to share where you've had an encounter with a nutter like this? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to smash the like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Let's move on to our next story.